Today for Did You Know, on October 27th, 1962, during the Cuban Missile Crisis, American ships had cornered a Soviet submarine and had no idea it was carrying a nuclear torpedo that could have triggered World War III. The sub B 59 was deep in the Caribbean waters near Cuba, cut off from any communication with Moscow. For days, the crew had been enduring sweltering heat over 130 degrees Fahrenheit, equipment failures, and dwindling oxygen. Above them, U.S. Navy destroyers were dropping non lethal practice depth charges, trying to force the submarine to surface for identification. It was a standard procedure, but the Soviets had no way of knowing the charges were not real explosives. Inside the control room, the submarine's captain, Valentin Savinsky, was convinced war had already begun. He angrily declared he would launch their special weapon, a 15-kiloton nuclear torpedo with power comparable to the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. A launch required the unanimous consent of three senior officers: Captain Savinsky, political officer Ivan Mazalnikov, and a man named Vasil Arkhipov, the flotilla's chief of staff. Savinsky and Malinanikov both agreed to fire. The fate of the world came down to a single vote. Vasil Arkhipov refused. He argued that the U.S. ships were signaling, not attacking, and that they should surface to await orders from Moscow. He stood his ground against the captain, calming the situation and preventing the launch. The submarine surfaced in the middle of the American fleet. The conflict was de-escalated, and the B-59 eventually returned to the Soviet Union. The world had no idea just how close it had come to the brink until decades later. And it'll also be of note that the guy that had the dissenting vote was actually the political officer, and he stood his ground, and thank goodness he did. History is out there, my friends.